Welcome back to episode 3 of
Time flies.
Except when it doesn't. We last left the 3 of you on the beach just below Dragon's Rest at Stormwreck Isle. You hadn't even started the climb yet because you chilled on the beach for a while and some zombie sailors shambled out of the water towards you, dripping, covered in seaweed. And they turned out to be mighty difficult to kill on account of already being undead. But you sort of managed. There was a bit of a mishap with food items having effects we weren't expecting. And Erwin is unconscious. Stable at least, not actively dying, but unconscious. And Hobbs is still nowhere to be seen. Must still be fast asleep on that boat, which is probably headed back out to open ocean by now. So, Thorn and Echo Fire. You have 3 now properly dead zombies and an unconscious friend. And I think you guys are a bit injured yourselves. Where are we at? What's happening?
I think I'm feeling pretty good, actually, because I was a bit of a coward and stayed as far as away from the fights as I possibly could. But my friend
and slept through some of it.
Yeah, that's it. It was quite refreshing, actually. And I think my brain needed that rest to be able to continue with the journey. Seeing as how Erwin provided a delicious recipe for some marrow jerky, he attempts to make a broth using some of it in the infernal oven and feed it to Errol in attempt to provide some vitality.
How long is it going to take to make this broth?
I mean
at this rate, you guys are camping out on the beach tonight by the sounds.
It'll take about one. It'll take 1d4 hours for him to make the broth.
We've got a magic oven that was summoned.
Oh, that's fast.
It's
okay.
Still sitting there on the beach, I reckon.
Okay. The oven's magic. Yep. Okay, I'll pay that.
And does Erwin receive any hit points from said broth?
I think you're going to have to roll for that, and we're going to have to find out.
Okay, I can do. What would you like me to roll with?
I mean, I don't feel like it's exactly a medicine check, given that it's random broth, but maybe something like a survival or a performance.
Survival, maybe. That might be the most appropriate.
Maybe survival, because you're trying to MacGyver something that's healing.
Okay, in the meantime, can Echo Fire chime in?
Yeah, go for it, Echo Fire.
Echo Fire is feeling excited because she's learned some new skills. So I have a cure wounds spell that I would like to use.
Erwin's like, yes, someone's actually going to heal me.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the broth.
Maybe the
Maybe
broth,
it's broth
the
after.
broth may still
Yeah.
add, and keep in mind that healing
Yeah.
is not necessarily going to give Erwin back all of her hit points. I don't know. Depends on what you got.
I
And how
think we
you
should do
roll it.
both. Yeah.
By all means, would you like to cure wounds?
Ooh.
Is
Very
it
pleased.
nat 20 again?
I'll take the 13 hit points. Oh no.
That's pretty
Yes. Yeah, 13 healing.
good. 13's pretty good.
Erwin blinks and coughs and splutters and looks around and did we win? Was the jelly good?
The jelly was very good.
I think. Okay.
Never mind about the jelly. Have this broth.
How much? Do I need to make a con save here, Sarah?
A recipe.
Look, he rolled. Look, I think Thorn rolled pretty well on his survival.
Oh no, it's a
check.
good. I'll take it. Yeah.
Thorn rolled 19 on his survival, which I was actually kind of impressed with. So maybe we can say that you can actually just take it.
Delicious broth.
Maybe
the herbs that make the difference.
Maybe Thorn could roll a d4 to find out how many extra hit points you get back.
Beautiful. I love it. Oh, total sum of 1.
Great roll.
You're welcome.
Excellent.
Good thing we had a monk with an actual cure wounds spell.
That was
You still
helpful.
have your
look.
pastry.
Yeah, and to be fair as well, obviously that would have been enough to get Erwin conscious again. So, you know, and at
Nice.
the moment, you can't see any other zombies. So, it'll be good enough for now.
All right. I guess we peer over where the Thorn peers over where the zombies emerge from the water and wonders, is there any more to where those zombies have come from?
I'm not even going to make you roll for this one at the moment. All you can see is the tide going out, but still, you know, coming and going, lapping against the shore.
Okay.
About now, there's a fluttering of wings, and there's an owl that seems to have kind of taken up a perch on your infernal oven, just sort of on the side of it, and looks. I mean, it could be a native owl, but it seems to have an odd streak of purple in its tail feathers that seems to match Erwin's hair. So Erwin is using her wild companion because hey, level 2. So this is Luna. Luna is her owl companion.
I just dropped you an owl.
Hey.
Hey.
Allow me to give you the ability to control that. Luna.
Nice touch.
There you go, Erwin. You should have control of that one, Sean.
Thank you. Okay.
Does anyone react to the bird?
No one's bird phobic.
No.
Good. Okay.
From whence this creature came?
It's Fey. So, my home, which is, I guess, yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of Fallandor and the mines and things, but we lived in the forest near there, and I came across a Fey being spirit, I don't know, a year or two ago, and since then I've been able to do that weird teleporty thing that I did during the fight, and every now and then I can talk to animals or have Luna come and visit me, and we have chats. We can talk telepathically, so it's quite nice. Owls, very wise. Lots of gossip from the local flora and fauna.
Nice.
What should we
Meanwhile,
do? Are we?
Thorn seems to observe a very silent conversation that Erwin is having with her owl, and he's very confused. Doesn't seem to comprehend what's going on.
Oh, did I? Wait, I meant to say that out loud. Most of that was out loud. Yeah, that was. I mean, I said hello to the birds also. But yeah. No,
I was wondering how much of that was Erwin explaining very literally to her companions what was going on, and how much of it was just Sean telling us.
Sean telling us, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. No, look, to be fair, I think she kind of probably wouldn't have told anyone much of her backstory if they were strangers on a boat, but now they've kind of fought a few things, and
You fought a horde of zombies,
one of them
and they
yeah,
did
and
bring you back
one
from
of them
the almost dead.
has cooked me 2 meals, and so this is probably the most significant relationships Erwin's ever had outside of her parents. So she's happy to share.
All right.
Now that we're planning our next move, can your owl help us out and have a look at what's around the islands for us?
She
or
can.
Give us any heads up on
She
what we
can.
might
She's
face?
very useful like that. She can go and look, and so she's quite fast and also very observant. So yeah, she can absolutely fly where we would think we're going to go and make sure that we're not going to stumble into any more trouble. She could also go and wake the cat up, I guess. We could send the owl to wake the cat up.
Don't want her to get eaten, so maybe not.
It's a bit Edgar Allan Poe just being awoken by. Actually, it might need a raven more than an owl. But
yeah,
we can rework that.
Well, I mean, I have a wild shape, so. Yeah. So
the ridge that we were.
Yeah, so we're heading up. I think up this way was the stairwell. So
the way you have it working with Luna, is it? What's the distance you need to be with each other for your telepathy?
Yeah, I'm just looking. So it's essentially I'm using my wild shape to cast Find Familiar. So I'm pretty sure that's Find Familiar. I felt like it was 100 feet, but let me find the actual number while we.
Because I guess you need to decide if you're going to send her all the way up and let her come back down and communicate with you, or
telepathic connection. When your familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate telepathically. As a bonus action, I can see through its eyes and hear what it hears.
Oh, you're like that guy in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm warging. Yeah. I end up being king. I'll take that. Yep. It's a disappointing end.
Damn.
So
Can
yeah, so I was.
Sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was going
Sorry,
to say
Thorn has a
we would
question?
have to follow. Yeah, we would have to follow the.
You'd
owl.
have to follow within 100 feet if you wanted to be using her eyes. Yeah. Sorry, Thorn, what was your question?
Am I able to inspect the zombies for any usable armor or light armor?
Sure.
loot?
You'd like to loot the bodies?
Loot the bodies.
I guess you'd have to roll me some sort of investigation check.
Investigation check. Well, we'll get him out of the way.
A 6.
6.
I think, Thorn, you start to loot the body of the zombie that's closest to you. He was wearing some leather armor as part of his whatever sailor's getup he was wearing. But it's moldy, and the texture of it is actually quite disgusting. And as you start to touch it, you're not sure that whether or not you want to keep doing this. 2 silver pieces do fall out of his pocket while you're attempting it.
Very nice. I'll take that.
You may have moldy leather armor if you would like it. Or you may leave it with the body.
I think Thorn's fiery disposition makes the moldy armor feel a little bit too icky, so he just leaves it be.
Yeah. Does anyone else wish to loot the body? A body, or are you guys headed up?
Yeah, I'll loot one of them.
Sure. Would you like to roll me an investigation check? An 11. You reach out to the one to your right, seeing what Thorn's doing with the other body, and it's also wearing some tattered uniforms and moldy armor, but it's actually got a coin pouch hanging off its belt, and if you pick that up, which I'm going to assume that you will.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's got, what did I put in that one? 1 gold, 2 silver, and a sharp tooth necklace of uncertain significance.
Ooh. I'm going to take all of that. And I'm going to put on the shark necklace.
Not sure if that's brave or stupid, but at the moment, you just put on the shark necklace.
Erwin, being a little bit used to Fae trickery and shit, she's going to cast Detect Magic, which works within a 30-foot range for up to 10 minutes. And I just want to know if she senses the magic aura, any aura of magic about the necklace or anything else unexpected within 30 feet of her.
There is a faint glow of... Hold on. Detect Magic gives us which school, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just bring it up so I can give you the right answer. There is a faint glow of transmutation.
Okay. She doesn't share this with anyone.
Cool.
You just see her kind of mutter something and wave a hand, and the owl hoots once, and then we just keep walking.
Cool. And I mean, nothing is actually happening at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we proceed?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ready to proceed, I might switch us to a different map.
Did we decide if we were going long rest as our first thing possible?
Just a long rest on the beach.
Yeah.
Everyone would like to go somewhere that was less zombie adjacent.
I was going to say, if you're going to long rest, we need to go back to the beach. I would grant you a short rest if that would be useful to anyone and you wanted to stay down there that long. But if you're going to stay down for a long rest, there are going to need to be, checks and things may or may not happen.
Yeah. Erwin would like to be away from the water. Just for now. The water seems to be full of marrows and dead people. So
Should we do a short rest?
Agrees.
So short rest above the table. So if you needed HP, you can roll a hit dice to get some HP back. Only some classes get their spell slots back on a short rest, so it kind of depends on what that'll do for you.
Yeah, and you've used all your spell slots, haven't you?
I have in fact used my last spell slot to do. In fact, detect magic is I can cast it once a day without a spell slot because I had none left.
Oh, nice.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So at some point, it would be good. So I've still got some like cantripy type stuff, but
sounds good.
Yeah, can't do much else until we do have a long rest.
Okay, maybe we'll leave it be for now then. Should we proceed without a long rest?
Yep.
Happy days.
Maybe we'll find a better place.
Yeah.
So as we're going, Erwin and Luna are both looking out for campsites, places of safety and defensibility that we could retreat to and take a long rest if we needed to.
Is that frozen? Can I just ask, can you guys see your tokens? Can you control your tokens? Down in that corner where I've popped them.
So
yes.
On my... I have a cut off bit of map which is just the water. Oh no, I just wasn't zoomed enough. Apologies. Yes, I can see me and move the token. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I need to zoom in too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Erwin had a boy look, which...
What I will need to do... So... You guys leave the beach and start heading up a path in the cliff face. a lot of it is just sort of well worn over the years, and there are areas that are steeper that have steps carved into them. You can see the little marks of the tools that have been used to carve them. How far ahead of you do you wish to send
Right out
Luna?
to the edge. So
as far as you can, basically.
As far as I can. So the better part of 100 feet.
Let's
taking into account however fast we're moving, which I think I feel like our movements were all kind of the same, but I also feel like Thorn had a heavy backpack full of stuff. And do you have to pack up your oven, or will it just come when you need it?
It's a magic oven, so it'll just disappear.
Huh. Cool.
That's
No
pretty
cleaning
impressive. So we can take our
It'll
time.
stay there until I summon it.
Okay. Yep.
We can take our time a little in terms of the movement, but let's say for now that Luna gets up to about this area. And she is able to telepathically communicate with you. I assume you both communicate in common when you're...
Yeah, so she speaks to me in... Yeah, I feel like this is often a bit grey, but yes, she speaks to me in common for now.
We're going to go with common for
now. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Or no, I guess she's Fae and I can speak Sylvan, so whatever. In any case.
Okay, maybe it's Sylvan, but for the purposes of everyone else listening along, let's translate it into common. So she notices and reports to you, and even in the area that you're already walking up yourselves, you do notice that here and there along that lower part of the path, there are actually little garden plots. And they look like they're fairly well tended. And they've got some flowers and some herbs and some vegetables. And I wouldn't be surprised if Thorn gets a little bit distracted at some of them.
No,
checking out what he can see
may
along the
also
way.
get distracted by particularly interesting herbs that have
She may
medicinal or
indeed.
magical properties. But yeah, okay. So we see some garden beds.
Thorn's chasing your bird at the moment.
Oh, sorry, is that where we are? Where can we see stuff from?
You should be with the group.
Oh, sure.
But because the bird's going to head. I believe that's what you guys were aiming for.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And so you're at the point where it's about a 30 feet height above the bay, or at least, sorry, Luna is at the point where the path is about a 30 feet height above the bay, and reports back to Erwin that it's widened into a long plaza here, and that there is a stone statue of a dragon that seems to be sort of looking down the path towards where you're coming from. And that there are doorways cut into the cliff face, which you might remember that you sort of noticed from a distance when you were in the rowboat being brought over by the sailors. And I assume she's got pretty good vision.
She does. In fact, she has keen senses and dark vision 120 feet and +5 to her perception.
Yeah. So she's actually able to tell you that she can hear some snoring from inside some of those rooms and a little bit of sort of chattering inside some of those rooms.
So Erwin relays to Thorn and Echofire that there's a plaza. There's a statue of a dragon that's looking down in the direction we're coming from. There's no one up and around, but there are sounds of snoring coming from side rooms that are cut into the rock. And she's going to ask them, as in Thorn and Echofire, if anyone remembers anyone on the boat or anyone beforehand telling us what kind of reception to expect at Dragon's Rest, whether this was a friendly place to go to, and she's going to have Luna perch on the dragon statue.
On the statue.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
None of you asked on the boat what sort of reception you might get.
What time of day is it? Sorry, DM.
Yep. So look, you got over here about 9-10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Spent a couple of hours
tanning,
fighting zombies, eating food, recovering a little. It's probably just after lunchtime. Let's say 2 o'clock in the afternoon by now.
Are we
just work out which one of these? Sorry?
I was going to say Erwin to the group would just kind of, I guess, ask if there's somebody or bodies up there. Are we going to announce our arrival, or are we being stealthy? Yeah,
Dawn
she's not
sees
really
Erwin
sure.
being very, very cautious. But given his background, he's a very he's used to being amongst the common man. He's a baker, for Christ's sake. So he goes, not to worry. We've got the perfect recipe for success. It's courage, skill, and a dash of chaos. And he, with a forward march, confidently walks into town, expecting a nice reception.
Erwin is going to look mournfully at Echofire and then going to follow him up the hill.
Dear. As you're following him up the hill, well, I'm going to say first, Thorn, you would see things, I think, before Erwin hears about them. But sort of, I guess, almost at the same time, perhaps, Thorn, you notice 2 small creatures, and Erwin, your bird tells you. Now, I'm actually not sure in the background of either of your characters, especially, I guess, in Luna's background. Would you guys recognize kobolds if you saw them?
I think probably not is the short answer. I think that the forest around Neverwinter is more like goblins and orcs and stuff, less kobolds and lizards and dragon type stuff. She'd recognize that it was a lizard-like creature, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's what I was thinking that Luna might say, is that Luna might say, two things of creatures have come out from one of those doors. They're carrying science stuff, I think. They're kind of like lizards, but humanoid.
Okay.
they just look like they're going about their daily business. They don't look like they're doing anything specific.
Erwin if we can't see them yet, Erwin conveys this to the others, just to let them know what she's seeing. And the Luna also has +5 stealth and has a thing called flyby, which means that she can basically evade enemy opportunity attacks. The Luna's just gonna quietly follow those kobolds for now.
Don't think there's going to be quite a following moment as the bird
Yeah.
Luna says to you, another one just came out of one of the doors. Another one came out of one of the doors.
Okay. And then
they're all looking quite busy. They kind of look like they're going to work or something.
Okay. Good. And then I guess I would have Luna look for other pathways, exits, or anything else that we've missed. And she's going to turn to Thorn at this point and go, well, I guess you're up, Baker Man. I hope the lizards like your treats.
Have they perceived our presence yet? Or are they just busy in their own work?
Are you going to keep walking closer, or are you standing back where you are?
I want to. So, a feeling of bile rises up behind Thorn's throat, and he rages. The fiery flecks on his skin sort of flicker as he recalls the hatred he has for kobolds. These don't look like the ones dressed in what he would remember, but it seems that there was a guttural reaction to these specific creatures. He takes a step back.
That slight noise and slight movement from you is enough to draw the attention of at least one of the kobolds, who quickly chatters to one near him and basically very quickly the entire population of these kobolds is eyeing you curiously. What are your passive perceptions?
12.
11.
15, and the owl is also 15.
Cool. I think Thorn's a bit on edge because he's realized they're kobolds. And I think Echo Fire is sort of almost as curious as the kobolds are. And you guys do notice that they're watching you and they're dressed in quite simple clothes. From where you're standing, Erwin, with your perception and with also the information that you're still receiving telepathically from Luna, you realize that no one's carrying any visible weapons.
Erwin had initially backed away from Thorn, fearing another shoot first, questions later scenario. But seeing that they look like they're just going about their day and they're dressed in simple clothes and there's no weapons, she's going to just come and just put a hand, and I can't remember. I feel like Thorn is tall, so it's not going to be a hand on the shoulder. It's going to be more like a hand on the back of his elbow type situation to get his attention and be like, I think that these are town folk. I don't think that these kobolds represent harm to us.
Can I do an insight check to help affirm this?
Are you wishing to do an insight check as to whether or not you think Erwin's telling you what she really does believe is the truth, or an insight check in terms of looking at the kobolds and trying to work out
What their intentions are, yeah.
what their intentions might be? Sure.
Yeah. And because I had my Dreamy Star Pie, I gain a +1 to my insight check.
Hey!
Brilliant.
After
So
I
it
wake
did have a
up.
positive effect. Okay, good to know.
Cool.
8.
So you've got 8. Thorn, you see that these people are dressed in simple clothes, and you certainly can't see any weapons.
Yeah.
But what you also see is that they have definitely noticed you guys, and they're sort of looking at you curiously, whispering to each other, pointing a bit, chatting, and you're unfortunately not really reassured by what Erwin has told you, because you've got memories that make you think of other things than just people going about their daily work. However, from the safety of the back of the small crowd, one of the kobolds finally yells something out at you guys, and it's just, "Hey, what's your name?"
Fearing that an all-out battle might end poorly, Thorn changes tack, seeing as how his compatriots are not as healthy as they could be. He goes, "The name's Thorn, traveling baker. Who are you, friend?"
The fact that you have responded quite appropriately to the question leads to the dropping of all of their concerns about whether or not they're nervous around you, and an absolute barrage of questions from this little group of people at all of you. Did you say baker? What's a baker?
"I'll show you a baker." He can't summon his
Another
other
one says, "Yeah, okay, show us your baker. I want to see the baker."
He did you guys eat your
It's really more of an early morning thing, his baking, and to be fair, it is tasty but seems to have mixed results. Erwin
nonsense. He takes
smiles
the
and
Now that
macaron.
Erwin's talking, no.
They've
You've
added
got to
her to
understand
the
all of
mix.
this is happening at once, right? So
Oh,
now that
yeah.
Erwin is talking, one of them says, "How did you get here? Did you sail on a big ship or a little one?"
First a big one, then a little one. We fought zombies on your beach. Does that happen often here?
Oh, is that the strangest thing you've ever seen?
No.
Well, what's the strangest thing you've ever seen?
That was going to be the follow-on question. I once followed a giant rabbit wearing a top hat down a hole under his tree. And I lost 3 weeks there.
Where does a rabbit get a top hat?
That's a good question.
Yes,
It was
but what's
quite
the
a
answer?
fancy top hat. Yeah.
Do you have magic?
Sometimes I have magic.
Can you show us? Please? Please?
Oh,
Pretty please?
we just had a big fight and I'm very tired. And to be fair, she's In fact, I think. Hang on, how much healing has she had?
Okay,
She's still visibly bloodied. So
if you got to fight either 100 ducks, like 100 normal ducks, or like one really big duck, which one would you pick?
The big duck. It yields more meat.
Have they clocked Echo Fire yet, or are we both just sucking up this entire barrage of questions?
No, you guys just don't answer it. She's not answering the questions.
Echo Fire is watching.
She took a vow of silence in that monastery.
No, they've definitely clocked her, and one of them comes up to her and says, "Do you know the dragon?"
No, who's the dragon?
You know, the dragon.
Is the dragon the dragon that has a statue on your island?
Which dragon statue are you referring to?
We've been told that you guys have a really pretty dragon statue up further ahead.
You don't think this one's pretty?
This one is very pretty.
At this point,
wait, is this
Luna hoots and craps on the dragon statue.
One of them says,
"No, wait.
Really one of them says, did you know that you can turn bird poo into explosives?"
Can you show us how?
That I can't show you how, but Mila could show you how. Mila's really good at that stuff. Do you have food? Interesting food. Like, I mean, we have food, but sometimes people who come from other places.
Has anyone got any marrow jerky left?
Do you still have that macaron that I pumped out the oven
I have
for you, Echo Fire?
I have half of my macaron.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she force-fed it to the zombie.
Wait, you're not pirates, are you? Are you pirates?
We are not pirates. We're explorers.
The kobold that asked whether Erwin had magic, it just dawned on Erwin that she can druidcraft without any spell slots. So the flower, the nearest garden bed, bursts into flower. All of the flowers blossom and buds bloom, and it looks kind of like it's suddenly grown a couple of weeks worth of growth in an instant.
Nice. The kobold who'd asked about that is sort of sitting there going, "You really do have magic.
Don't tell anyone.
You have magic. But we like magic. That was cool. Can you do other things?"
Mostly just things that fit in the category of small and trivial, like flower blooms and tiny harmless sensory effects.
That was.
I can tell you the weather.
Wonderful.
I can tell you the weather.
I can tell you the weather. It's sunny up there. You can see it. It's sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can do that. It's sunny.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not here to steal anything, right?
Have you got anything that's worth stealing?
Oh, are you here
We're
to steal?
only here
things?
to trade.
Trade? Oh, what are you trading?
Magic tricks.
Wait, you wish to give us magic tricks, or you wish us to give you magic tricks?
I wish to perform magic tricks. I only ask for payment.
I have a really nice rock. Would you like a rock?
We can.
What's the best rock you've ever seen? Do you have rocks? I like rocks. I like to collect rocks. This is my favorite rock. But
Yeah.
if your magic
Does it
trick
have
is
a
really
name?
good, my rock.
What's your rock's name?
Peter.
Peter the Rock. Okay.
What
Yes.
makes
Could have been
it
the Rock the Rock.
Yeah.
No, it's
Dwayne
Peter.
the Rock.
No. Dwayne's my second favorite. This is Peter.
The Rock Dwayne Johnson. What's so special about Peter? Can we see him?
You can see him, but you can't have him unless I like your magic trick.
No problem.
Can you do
Holds out.
any? Have you got any magic tricks left?
Do you like Eldritch Blast?
I mean, you said you would try the magic trick.
There are more of them than there are us, and I have no spell slots left.
Did you bring any shiny things? We love shiny things.
Erwin fishes out one of the gold pieces that the ship captain had given her and said that this is the shiniest thing that she's seen lately, and offers it to the kobold. In fact, she throws it amongst the throng of kobolds.
They do literally kind of jump all over it trying to catch it, purely because it is pretty and shiny, not because they've got any real concept of it being like currency. As that's happening, a figure comes into view, descending gracefully from the upper part of the cloister, and the chattering kobolds actually fall silent and sort of even stand to one side and part somewhat to let her through. I'd like to show you. I will describe her, but I would like to show you her. Does that work? There we go. This lady walks towards you through the middle of the kobolds, and she's an elderly human woman with weathered brown skin. Her white hair is in braids, and she's got kindly hazel eyes. And she's dressed in a simple white robe, and she smiles as she draws near, and she extends her arms out to you in greeting. Welcome to Dragon's Rest. May Bahamut's guidance lead you to whatever you seek, and my sincere gratitude for your work down on the beach.
Echo Fire is intrigued because this strange lady has mentioned her god that she has been serving at the monastery for many years.
Has she's come down, Runara's come down to where the kobolds are?
She's come down past the two humans that are just standing at the back, through the kobolds to talk to you.
Is she within 30 feet?
Oh yes.
Okay, so I've still got detect magic.
Sorry,
for
Thorn,
10
what are you
minutes.
saying?
Oh, I just said Echo Fire still down on the beach.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Echo Fire runs.
Join us, Naruto running. Erwin still has detect magic, unless it's been more than 10 minutes since I don't know, how long did it take us to walk up the hill?
I don't know. At the rate you guys were going, it was a while.
Okay.
do we get this inkling that Echo Fire has recognized the religion at all, or
No, Echo Fire doesn't say anything yet.
okay.
Still silence, that vow of silence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
actually not a bad character idea for avoiding roleplay, to be honest. I'm going to write that into my next character. Take a vow of silence. The silent paladin. Oath of silence.
Anyway, you guys are taking a while to work that one out. So she introduces herself, and she says, "I am Elder Runara. I'm the leader here of the cloister at Dragon's Rest, and I see that you've met most of my friends already. As I say, so grateful for your help with those zombies. You are welcome to stay here at Dragon's Rest with us as long as you wish. There is a possibility of you guys. I mean, there's one cell still here in one of our monastic cells that's not currently being used that you could share if you needed somewhere to sleep, or you could sleep up in the temple if you prefer. And as we go up, I can show you where the dining room is, and you can come and eat with us."
All those options sound great. Thorn asks Runara, "Elder, respectfully, the only kobolds I've seen the only kobolds I've seen in my life have not have always been hostile. Is there a reason why these particular kobolds are working with you, and are they all friendly on the Stormwreck Isles?"
Sorry, did you say is there a reason they're working with me?
No. A reason why... Yeah, I guess that makes sense as well. I actually forgot what I said.
Okay. She looks at you and she says, I would urge you to consider that what you have experienced once in one part of a world is not always going to be true everywhere. Here in Dragon's Rest, we really we strive to work towards the ideals of justice and compassion. And my kobold friends here who help me and tend to the temple, they are good. Obviously, they are still creatures like all of us, and we have our moods, we have our whims, and it's the occasional argument. But we're all striving for good here. And I would hope, and she sort of glances around at the three of you, I would hope that you're all striving for good too.
Of course.
That sounded convincing.
Roll persuasion. Erwin is going to, I guess, sort of come forward at this point. She was pretty keen for Thorn to lead to be the face, but at this point, her curiosity gets the better of her, and she wants to know about the zombies. She says, does that happen often? Zombie undead attacks?
Oh, of late it's been happening more often than we would like it to. Those ones, there was a ship just a few days ago that sunk. No survivors. Varnoth, she sort of gestures back towards one of the humans. Varnoth and Rix, she gestures at one of the kobolds. Unfortunately saw that wreck happen. There was there was an older wreck that still lies up off the coast, and ever since that wreck happened, it seemed that there are more and more wrecks about the Isle, and in general, several ships crash up against the rocks, and yes, we do get some zombie intrusions occasionally. I've been hoping to find someone who might be willing to go out to the old wreck, the wreck of the Compass Rose, and try to work out what happened. Are you volunteering, young man?
Seems we have nothing better to do.
We would be incredible.
He's really quite excellent.
We would be incredibly grateful if anyone would go and investigate it. You guys do look like you need a little bit of a rest first, maybe. We could show you around and patch you up and feed you, and maybe you could get a good night's sleep and set out tomorrow.
In your experience holding your defenses against these zombies, do you feel that there is any useful information or tools that we could use to defeat them more easily?
She looks at Echo Fire as she answers you, and she says, I get the impression you've already worked out how to defeat them.
Don't have like a radiant dagger or anything sitting around.
No.
I have Sacred Flame.
We try not
Erwin
to.
just remembered how to do Starry Wisp, so
we
got
as a rule
now.
try not to keep weapons here at the cloister. I mean, obviously, we understand why you carry them, and we're not going to ask you to lay them down as long as you remain peaceful here. But you certainly might need your weapons elsewhere on the island.
Okay.
Yeah, so Erwin, I guess, sort of non-verbally, paraverbally, we're ready for the tour. She starts to kind of wander and look around, and the owl comes down and settles on her shoulder, and they're kind of wandering off ahead, like the enthusiastic.
You're ready for the tour,
child. Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
The temple, please.
Before we leave, Echo Fire
on the way up
chimes in.
Oh, hold on. I have a child. What's up, Hen? Henry, where are you going? Are you okay? Are you going back to bed? I think he's sleepwalking. Okay. Nope. Sorry, what was the question?
Can we quickly learn how to make the exploding bird poop?
Great question.
Does seem like an important weapon for the owl to have.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let's do the tour, and I'll bring you back down to talk to Mila at the end of the tour, and I'm sure Mila can help you out.
All right. Sounds good.
Luna's just become a bomber. So good.
Become?
Wow. Okay.
Right.
So I'm just double checking this. Yes, that is working. So she shows you into the first cell, which is actually very neatly made up. And she says, our monastic cells here are quite simple. Each cell has, a bed, a nightstand, a small desk, a chair. This cell is currently vacant, and any or all of you could certainly bunk in here if you wanted to, and if you didn't mind sharing the space. And you'll notice that in general we don't usually have doors on these cells. The second cell along, this is Tarek's cell. You'll meet Tarek. The third one is Varnoth's. You look into the fourth one, and it is absolutely cluttered with junk and tools. And she says, "Oh, this is Mila's. You can tell the scientist." And then the fifth and the sixth are actually strung up with hammocks, and that's basically where the other 8 kobolds sleep. And she says, "Let's head up the hill a little bit further, and I can show you some of the other things." She'll pause at the 2 humans to introduce them to you, and she'll say, she points to Varnoth first. Varnoth is a human woman, also a bit older, someone who looks like they were once very tightly muscled, but now has a thinner frame. And she's got a black hair that's cropped quite close to her scalp, and a light brown skin with many scars on it. One of which actually runs right across her left eye, and the eye itself looks sort of milky. She's blind in that eye. And her right leg below the knee is actually replaced with an elegant prosthetic made from wood and metal. And Runara says, Varnoth maintains the temple and other areas of the cloister for us. And Varnoth is somewhat indifferent to you guys. She sort of nods at you politely enough to acknowledge that you've been introduced, but doesn't try to talk to you, doesn't start a conversation. And the other person here is Tarek, who's a human male, sort of middle-aged human male. He's a paler skinned person with freckles, auburn hair, and a beard that's greying, some grey blue eyes, and quite a lot of faded tattoos visible on his neck coming up from beneath his robes. And he's quite dirty in the very literally gardening sense. He looks like he's been in the garden all morning, and he's covered in actual soil. And he's quite friendly, and he says, "Hello, welcome," and and don't mind me. You probably don't want to shake my hands at the moment, because he has been quite literally gardening all morning. And Runara says, "Shall we continue on up the path?"
Just as we've been walking past the raised garden, or the garden beds that he's been presumably he's been working on, but everyone particularly is looking for herbs, plants of any significance, magical properties, healing, poison, just keeping an eye out with her 15 passive perception and her owl.
You probably actually notice quite a few. I mean, you certainly notice plenty that's great for cooking, but you do also notice some things that
she
are useful.
nudges Thorn as she goes past and goes, that one with fish, that one with chicken or kobold.
Said I'm sorry, I was slow on the uptake there. You just said kobold. Oh dear, troublemaker you. So, as you ascend up the winding path further, you come past an area that is a little winch house. This is a small freestanding building halfway up the path with a peaked roof and a weathered wooden door. And it's got a sturdy wooden pallet wrapped with rope, hanging beneath it on an iron chain, sort of lying flat up against the cliff face. And Runara just says, this is our winch house, so that when the boats actually deliver supplies to us, we can let this down to below so that we don't have to go up and down the entire cliff. We use the pallet to haul the goods up and down. And there's a lever locking the winch into place.
Okay.
And she takes you up a little bit further. And she says, this is a very important area. This is the kitchen. And this sort of doorway into the rock opens into a dining room, with sort of a really long table with benches that run the length of the table, and there's a single chair at the head of the table, and then there's a little short hallway which you've found headed further into the back into just a little neat and tidy kitchen. And then as you keep coming, you find the first of all these doorways that have been cut into the cliff face. This is the first door that you find that actually has a door, like an actual door on it. The rest of them are just holes in the cliff. And this is a lovely door made of sturdy oak with iron bands, but it does swing open easily to find a library. And there are bookshelves lining every wall, and then some freestanding shelves sort of more in the west half of the room. In the east half, there's a table with 2 benches, and there are writing implements, there are book stands, there are little lamps that are shielded by glass. So that's the library.
Thorn asks, why is this the only room so far that we've seen with a door?
To protect the books from the salt air.
Yeah, fair enough.
Books are precious.
Cool.
And then as you continue towards the highest point of the cloister, you do start to bring into vision the open-air temple that you did actually see somewhat from the ocean on your approach. And I think... There we go. Theoretically, I can ask one of the characters or any of the characters if they would like to give me a religion check to see if they recognize the statue in the middle of this open-air temple. But I'm not going to ask anyone to give it a check because I think Echo Fire is immediately going to recognize her deity. The north wall of the temple has been carved directly into the rock, and then the rest is open to the sea air, as you could see from the sea. There are heavy pillars marking those 3 open sides to support a wooden roof over the top of it. And in the center of the temple, there is a stone statue of a kind-looking old man perched with canaries perched on his hands, shoulders, and head. And for all of you, regardless of your background at the moment, entering this room, there is a feeling of serenity. Echo Fire would recognize, and if she wished to share it with her, what have I done? Share it with her friends. Stretch Runara instead of moving her. That what you're seeing is Bahamut in mortal disguise. So dressed as a mortal man, and the 7 canaries represent the gold dragons who accompany him in his travels.
Echo Fire's eyes light up and she looks around at her companions with her eyes wide open, and then she says that this is a god in human disguise, and she advises her companions that we should proceed cautiously.
Runara looks over at you, looks you up and down, and smiles a very knowing but warm smile. And she just sort of... there's not that you guys do talk telepathically or anything like that, but there's that moment that you know that she's recognized that you know this god. And she's appreciated that it's more than just, she can see that this is more than just, this is something I read in a history book once.
And so Echo Fire hasn't, I guess, told us a lot about her order or the monastery, but we're gonna put together the fact that the kobolds referenced the dragon statue, that she's talked about a dragon statue, and her being dragonborn, and I'm gonna assume this is a draconic deity. What kind of dragon is this god? He said gold dragons accompany them, but what?
Runara would immediately speak up at this point, although she's fairly certain that Echo Fire would know the answer. This is clearly her temple and her cloister. She would say, Bahamut, the platinum dragon. He is the patron and progenitor of all the metallic dragons. And so adventurers and dragons alike pray to him to uphold honor and justice, or just, when you need courage.
Erwin has never seen a dragon before, but she's familiar with her parents' teachings and metallic dragons being generally lawful and good and good forces. So she's appropriately awed and is quite respectful of the whole situation. And she admonishes Luna not to crap any further on any statues that she may come across.
Dragons.
Telepathically, just in case.
Speaking of crapping on dragons. Hold on. Can't I move that one? Apparently I can't move this one. I'm trying to move Myla and it won't let me. Okay, it won't let me move Myla, but at this moment, Myla actually comes running up the path, quite panting, and says, hold on. Apparently you folks wanted to Runara, sorry, can they apparently they wanted to know about guano. And Runara sort of sighs a little and smiles in that sort of like, humoring someone way. And she's like, just fine. Make it quick. And Myla goes, yeah, well, I mean, seriously, like, have you ever wondered why wizards love fireballs so much? It's because it's guano. It's dried up poo. You see, it's packed with nitrates. You mix it with a little bit of sulfur, a little bit of charcoal. You get yourself something real fun. Basically, it's gunpowder. Now, you don't usually go around making it yourself, but if you're desperate and you get the dried bird or bat droppings, you can actually scrape together a crude explosive. You've just got to find somewhere to get the sulfur and the charcoal. I don't recommend you guys doing this at home. You might blow your face off.
Ooh. Do you happen to have any charcoal or sulfur that we could use while we go check out the wreck?
I mean, charcoal's easy enough. Find a fire. Sulfur. Probably got some sulfuric acid, and we could probably find a way. Look, if you give me a bit of time, I can possibly find you some.
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool. And Myla just disappears again back down the hall.
The owl hoots excitedly.
I love that. I really love that. I'm going to suggest that we are at a spot where it's probably wise to leave it for tonight. By way of Runara saying, let's get you guys cleaned up and settled in. Let's get you cleaned up and settled in for the night. Get you some food. You can wander around like I've shown you. Nothing, nowhere's off limits. I think you guys should rest and let's chat over breakfast in the morning about the shipwrecks, and I'll give you the instructions for how to get to the Compass Rose.
Sounds good.
And yes, I would say
see you in the morning.
Are we going to go and bunk in that monastery room, or do you guys want to stay in the temple? That's an Echo Fire question. What kind of devotion are we getting from Echo Fire? Is it like groveling at the like she's not going to want to leave the statue, or like?
Echo Fire is about the temple. That's where the learning is, and that's where the secrets are. So Echo Fire suggests to her companions that we go stay at the temple.
It is the furthest away from where the zombies are.
Oh, true.
So
okay.
Erwin is also on board with this. As long
Swan
as
heads to the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Got to get an early start for the morning, I guess.
Okay. Erwin, do you
dinner.
want to head to the room with me? We can.
I'll go wherever you guys go.
You're right. Let's do that.
Let's
go to the spare monastery room.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so we're gonna have a long rest, And
You guys can have a long rest, and when we pick up next week, we'll pick up at breakfast the next day.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm going to quietly spread rumors to some of the kobolds about a vicious tabaxi that we've heard about. A pirate tabaxi.
Oh, you're
Just
cruel.
mention it a
I
few
love
times in passing. And they call him Captain Black Jack Hobbs.
Captain
see.
Black Jack Hobbs.
Yeah, we'll just see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
We'll see how that unfolds. You're a troublemaker, and I love it.
Needs to be captured, not killed.
Oh yeah, there's a huge reward. Humongous reward.
2 magic tricks.
Reward. What's the reward? 2 magic tricks.
2 shinies.
How do we find this tabaxi pirate?
Rumor has it if you say his name 3 times and then you have a long rest, he'll come the next day.
Captain Black. It's a bit of a
It
tongue
is a long
twister.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Captain Black Jack Hobbs. 3 times.
Very good. You keep practicing that, and we'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna pick some herbs that she thought were interesting for whatever reason she thought they were interesting, and then she's gonna wander into the cell with her friends, companions, and she's gonna curl up against the back wall, and the owl's gonna fade out of existence as she drifts off to sleep, and she's going to enjoy regaining her spell slots and hit points.
Love it.
A long rest. Okay. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Hopefully,
Next week.
Have a good
hopefully
week.
with the tabaxi, the poor guy doesn't know what he's walking into.
Yeah.